So here now is A.B. Stoddard, RealClearPolitics Associate Editor. Thanks so much for joining us. What was your take on this?
Well, I'm not surprised that they're going to get aggressive on this, and it is obviously really burgeoned since President Trump took office. Leaks of classified information are really dangerous, and there has to be some kind of repercussions and consequence in place for this to eventually stop. The leaking of transcripts of the leader of the free world talking to other leaders of other countries over serious national security matters like our standoff with North Korea, it really can't stand. That said, this president did, set out to attack the intelligence community and has seen he's paid the price for that after he met with Russian officials in the Oval Office, and they believed that he released classified information in that setting. They exposed him by leaking the discussion in that meeting in order to show that he might have done that, which they thought was, he should be held to account for. So I don't necessarily think that the leaks are going to stop.
So you don't think they're going to stop? Because this would be the moment. So if they went out and they made this very strong statement, we're not going to stand this, here's what we're going to do. It seems like if they were serious about stopping it at this point, you would take whatever you thought was the most clear-cut or egregious leak. Maybe it was this conversation between world leaders, whatever it was, and try and triangulate back to who did it, which would be fairly straightforward. Maybe you take the one that is easiest to track down and trace, figure out who did it, bring in a lie detector, and start prosecuting one person and make an example out of one person to make the whole thing start.
Well, the Attorney General made it sound like they actually have, without naming the case, have begun targeting certain leakers. And certainly they're following the practices of the Obama administration, where the Obama administration used the Espionage Act to target more leakers than all of his predecessors combined. So you will definitely see an aggressive targeting and likely prosecution of leakers. I'm just saying it might slow it. I don't know that it's going to stop it. There are also non-classified leaks going on from within the West Wing of the White House. If you look at all over the coverage of H.R. McMaster, the National Security Advisor, over the last 48 hours, you will see that his critics have set out to begin a leak campaign against him. Hopefully, I think in their goal is to get him out of his job. So there are leaks going on between warring factions under President Trump's nose. And until and unless you have people that are working as a team, which maybe General Kelly, the new chief of staff, can do, you're going to have people leaking against rival factions. So that's another non-classified example of leaking I don't think will stop.
I want to follow up on a couple things you said there. So you said that it sounded like they were already pursuing people who are leaking, or a significant leak, in terms of what we heard this afternoon. Have you heard anything about that? I mean, is there any more evidence of that? Has anyone else been talking about the fact that they seem to be
They have a new unit within the FBI, and they said they're going after people aggressively. I think that they are going to ultimately do what you just suggested, Melissa, which is to set their very vast resources upon the people that are in the room. Look at the leak of a meeting about Afghanistan policy we saw this week. How many people were in that room when the president was very dismayed about the Afghanistan policy proposals before him, and talking about this, comparing it to the renovation of the New York nightclub 21. There's only a few people in there. It won't take them long to figure out who leaked that. So I do believe that some heads will roll. I'm just talking about the vast, sort of broad leaking generally. I don't see that it's going to come to an end.
Yeah, no, they are two totally separate things, the national security one versus the backbiting one. But you have to think that, I don't know, I feel like it would have a chilling effect if you really made an example out of somebody who broke the law. At the same time, if you're somebody in the White House who's going to call a reporter to try and stab someone else in the back, you might think twice about it if somebody's going to jail for leaking something more significant. You don't think there would ever be a connection?
Or if you thought that General Kelly was going to make sure you lost your job. I actually think that there can be consequences both if you work at the NSA or you work on the comms staff at the White House. I mean, I just think what I'm saying is it's been so prolific, I'll believe it when I see it.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. A.B., thanks for taking the time today. We appreciate it. Thanks.